This week's Michigan Lottery Excellence in Education winner is Annette Holbrecht with the Keith Bovenshin School, part of the Macomb Intermediate School District. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We have a video from your nominator. Let's take a look.
Okay.
I nominated Annette Holbrecht for this educational award because she matched all the criteria. Annette is a fantastic social worker who works at Keith Bovenshin School, part of the Macomb Intermediate School District. Annette has worked there 42 years and has won many awards along the way. The thing that impresses me the most about Annette is her ability to design and run support groups. She uses an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure approach. She has developed sibling and parent support groups, and the Bovenshin students have reaped the benefits. Lastly, I cannot forget to mention how willing Annette is to help people in need. Annette has spent many hours beyond the school day organizing and delivering food baskets for families in needs. She also has organized meal programs for co-workers going through lengthy medical treatments. I am so honored to have been able to nominate Annette Holbrecht for this educational award because she is so deserving of it. Thank you very much.
So sweet.
Who is that?
When I was a brand new teacher, just fresh out of college, she was my OT.
Oh.
And we've remained friends for over 40 years.
Wow.
Stood up at my wedding, 35 years ago. And she's just, she's a dear friend.
Now, you started out as a special education teacher, but then moved into what I understand is your dream job.
Yes.
Which is social work. Tell me about that.
So I worked with oldest, severely multiply impaired young adults. And as much as I enjoyed that job, I felt somewhat limited by the confines of the four walls. And so I started to go back to school and thought that I think I'd want to work more with the families where the kids come from. And then I was offered a job at Keith Bovenshin. It was a different school that I worked at. And I stayed there for 38 years. Wow. And in a week, I'm retiring from that job, which is just crazy, absolutely crazy.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, wow.
Yeah.
You've been teaching for how long then, total?
Well, I've been with the district for 42 years,
okay.
But at the same school for 38, which is mind-boggling to me,
Yeah.
Mind-boggling. Never
What's
thought that.
that like for you, knowing that that's, a new chapter is opening up for you?
It's mixed, There are many days I drive to work and I think, oh my God, what have I done? And I cry a little and I think, oh, maybe I shouldn't retire. And other times I think, it's time for someone else to do what they want to do and create their own programs and put their mark at Bovenshin. And I also wanted to leave when I was healthy and vibrant, not resentful. And I always tell my colleagues I love my job and I want to leave when I feel like I'm on top and not burned out, because sometimes people wait too long to retire. I don't want to be that person. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, well, you've created a lot of support programs. What's your favorite?
My favorite's probably the Sibling program. Years ago, when I first started working at Bovenshin, I had been offered a job in Ann Arbor. I had just graduated from U of M to start a sibling program. There was no sibling program in Macomb County. And I was offered a job at Bovenshin, and I thought, well, I'll try it for a year and see what happens. And I went to admin and I said, I'd like to try this. And they're like, sure, sounds great. What do you need from us? And I said, just you to say yes. And then, it started from there. So I ran a program at night for many years. Parents were super responsive. Kids were very responsive. I've even been invited to some of the weddings of these kids. And over the years, I even had a parent last Friday say to me how much the sibling program helped her boys, and the parent program. So I know it's kind of like the gift that keeps giving. So sometimes you feel like, you're driving home at 9 o'clock at night, and you think, wow, this has been a really long day, 13 hours. But then you realize someone will stop you in the hallway, or a parent comes to an IEP and they'll say, you probably don't know this, but what you said that many years ago really made a difference. And so when you hear that randomly and frequently, it just kind of keeps you going. and makes you realize that what you do does matter, you know?
So fast forward 10 years from now, you run into a former student. What do you hope that they say about their experience with you?
Thank you for what you did. Because, first of all, most of our kids are nonverbal because they're special ed. But there isn't a week that goes by where someone hasn't reached out and said, again, kind of like I just said, you probably don't know this, but that when we were going through that time, what you said really mattered. And so I feel like I store those little comments in my head and know that even when you're occasionally met with resistance or uncertainty or some ambiguity, you feel that as long as you're motivated by doing the right thing, you're going to be okay.
So the sibling program, what is that exactly? Like, how does that work?
So the program has changed significantly. Initially, I would run it at night. I would have a group for 6 to 9-year-olds and 10 to 13-year-olds. And I would run 4 sessions for each, so it'd be 8 sessions. Then I would meet with the parents and talk a little bit about some of the concerns that kids had and the questions they had. I never said to the parents, hey, your child is thinking this or your child is thinking that. I made rules with the kids. We planned all the activities together. We'd have speakers, we'd play games, we'd bake and cook, and we'd swim in our school pool, did a lot of fun things. And then we eventually did it during the day so that the kids could benefit and learn from what does an OT do? What does a psychologist do? What does the speech therapist do? How do they teach my brother or sister how to communicate? And then we started doing it in the summer times. And now the program is more universal, and we just implemented something last June where we're providing it across the whole school district, and we're rotating sites. So the autism program, the cognitive impaired program, the north and south part of the county, we're sharing that responsibility and our school sites in hope to provide more of a universal program and more options for kids.
I know that being a social worker was your dream job. Why was that your dream job?
I would never minimize what a teacher does because I have such praise and admiration for what our teachers do. Very tough jobs, very tough jobs. But I feel that I can reach more people as a social worker. We have about 250 students in our school, and I'm able to work with as many kids as possible, as many of the teachers as possible, as many as the parents as possible, and I feel my ability to do outreach is greater. And I love the fact that every day is different. Not one day is like the next. And so that's really wonderful. Nothing short of wonderful.
Well, thank you for what you do. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Annette from Keith Bovenschen School receives a $2,000 check from the Michigan Lottery. Excellence in Education Awards sponsored by the Michigan Lottery, providing more than $28 billion to public education since 1972.